Good morning, everyone. I'm Joshua Silbasiro Kumani Chairman, and today I will discuss about the approval from authorities under provision for safety and security policies and procedure. So, in some cases, the business will need to obtain approval from government authorities for element of proposed tours. Kaya sabi po dito na need ng isang business na kumuha ng mga approval sa government upang makasigurado sa safety ng isang customer. While name titles of these department agencies vary between countries, there can be a need to seek approval from those with interest in. So, kahit na po iba't iba ang mga pangalan ng mga pangalan ng mga department, kailangan pa rin natin humingi ng approval mula sa mga ito. Tulad sa immigration, sila yung mga responsibilidad sa mga labas-pasok sa bansa. Custom, sila yung responsible for the controls and monitoring export and import of weapon mass. Park and wildlife natural attraction and heritage, responsible for nature attraction and rescue animals. So, yung health, responsible for having a good healthcare sa mga customer. And travel tourism, responsible for safe trip. Next is the media communication following an event or incident. All operators will seek to control their communication with the media. This is especially the case where there has been an event or incident. So sinasabi po dito ang lahat ng mga operators ay sinisiguradong na maayos ang kanilang communication sa media, lalo na pag may mga aksidenteng nangyayari. Next is an accident or injury while on tour, damage to property or equipment while on tour, close call near miss or near misses happening when on tour, loss of company or tour group members' property while on tour, delay to or postponement or cancellation of tours or activities, complaints made to the media by dissatisfied customer tour group members. So, lahat ng nabanggit sa mga event or accident na yan, during the travel or in business, ayun yung mga possibilities na maaaring mangyari during that time. So, that's why we need natin ang communication for easy to inform and to respond sa mga health officer like na mga ambulansya and other health officer. Next is the protocol in this regard will contain identification of person who have been organizational approval to deal with the media. So sinasabi po dito na pagkakilala sa mga taong may approval sa media na kinakailangan sa isang business. Next is need to never admit liability or allocate become in the first instant. Hindi natin sabihin kung ano talaga nangyari at walang sisisihin sa anumang interview. Next is definition of standard detail which may be released to the media such as date and times, destination and location, name and type of tour or trip, number on tour, name of carriers. Next is internal requirements for developing media release, checking, authorizing, approving media release, and responding to media inquiries. Next is detail regarding type of approved contact with the media and frequency of media release and or interview. Next is training in dealing with the media, which should feature role plays and simulated scenarios. Ang ginagawa po dito ay para mas maintindihan kung ano talaga ang mga nangyari during sa event upang mapaliwanag na maayos kung ano talaga ang nangyari. Ethical operation of the business. Organization will always seek to integrate ethical conduct into the operation of their business. So, sinasabi po dito na some of the organization ay need isama ang ethical na pag-uugali sa pagtatayo ng isang negosyo. And meet legal and contractual obligation. Sinasabi po dito na need to pa rin kung ano nakalagay sa kontrata ng isang business. And maintain a positive image for the business in the marketplace. Need to pa rin, need na maganda ang image ng isang company upang maging maganda ang rating nito sa mga customer. Next is remain a good, responsible corporate citizen, cultivate a basis for optimizing. So, need na magandang isang responsable at merong ethics ang isang negosyo. Next is repeat business in referral business. So, yung repeat business po, ito po yung mga customer na loyal sa iyong company. And next is referral business. Ito yung mga method na ginagamit para makatak ang customer using word of mouth. Next is protocol relating to integrating ethical conduct into safety and security include training of staff in relation to and organizational expectation. And so, legal requirements, ito po yung mga permit na need natin sa pagtatayo ng isang business. Next is need for openness, honesty, and transparency in all dealings. So, need po natin ng isang maayos na transaction. Next is requirement for promotion and or sales technique to never be misleading or deceptive. Huwag mong bibigyan ng mga false info o huwag manlilang ng isang customer. Next is not put pressure on people to make a purchase. Huwag i-pressure yung mga customer upang hindi bumaba yung satisfaction niya sa inyong company. Next is plan and detailed response for dealing with complaints and issue resolution. So, in dealing complaints, need natin ang maayos na pag-uusap sa customer upang maiwasan ang mga maaaring ikalaki ng issue. Next is issue resolution. Ito yung mga pag-resolve agad sa mga problema at issue. Next is making the safety and security of tour groups member the number one priority at all times regardless of all other consideration with special reference to not comprising safety and security in order to save money and save time or keep a tour running according to the itinerary. So, sinasabi po dito na gawing unang priority ang safety and security ng isang tour group members. At need mo nang mag-save ng isang money in case of emergency. And same time according sa plano ng isang tour. So, next is placing the safety of people, tour groups member, above the security of their personal belongings and above the security of organizational resources. Never taking any action or making any compromise which will compromise safety or security. So, that's all for the provision to safety and security policies and procedure. Next is the resources availabilities to support required safety and security procedure, and it will be reported by Jim Anthony Mulano.
I am Jem Antonio of Milano, and I'm going to discuss resources availability to support required safety and security procedures. All organizations will need to dedicate resources to implement required safety and security procedures, identified as being necessary for the operation of the business. This section identifies and discusses what these resources may be. This includes first, training. Second, PP or personal protective equipment to use. Third, plans to consider for any emergencies or adverse weather conditions. Fourth, equipment and system to use. And fifth, the documentation requirements. First is training. It is one of the primary resources underpinning support for required safety and security procedures. The training must embrace the three components of competency-based training. First is skills. Second is knowledge. And the third is attitude. When you say competency-based training, it means it is a training that is designed to allow learners to demonstrate their ability to do something. Example of this is how to create a brochure, how to do their favorite pasta or coffee, etc. This means it must encompass the practical and theoretical elements of the job for each employee or job position. In order to meet the learning objectives related to trainees' current or future jobs, the following training delivery methods are used. First, through demonstration, it's showing them how. Second, drill or practice. Third, role plays. Fourth, case studies. Fifth, through practical exercises. This is an actual hands-on. Sixth, explanations. And the seventh, discussions. Other options for training delivery includes first, on-the-job training. It is an actual execution of work. Second, workplace coaching. It coaching the individual to improve their performance, enhancing individual skills, and help them better understand their role in the organization. Third, bodying up of less experienced staff with more experienced workers. It working closely together. Fourth, formal training course. This course taught by a designated highly skilled instructor. Attendance at non-accredited training courses delivered by first, peak industry bodies. Second, authorities and agencies. And third, partners, suppliers, and carriers. 6. Formal and or informal assessment. It can be written documents like tests, quiz, being scored that will assess learners if they have attained the learning target or not, or through teachers' spontaneous day-to-day observations of learners' performance. Second, PPE or personal protective equipment. It is the lowest level in the hierarchy of controls. Last line of defense, designed to protect the user against health or risk at work. Ang hierarchy of controls, pag di po gumana yan, yan yung tinanggal na yung elimination. Elimination is yung tanggal. Pagtatanggal ng problema. Substitution, pagpapalit, may problema yon, di napapalitan, di nag-work. Engineering control, dapat lalagyan mo ng barrier yan o kung ano man. Mahal eh. Ngayon, yung administrative control, yung pagpapalit ng tao, o kung kaya paglalagay ng mga signage, pag di pa din nag-work yan, PPE na po sir. Paprotektahan na po ang mga workers para di madisgrasya pagsusot ng gloves. Pag ano nung sa mata, protection ka lang pero di matatanggal ang problema. Andun pa din ang problema, protektado ka lang. For eye protection, protective glasses, goggles, eyewear, or visors, face shields. For body protection, clothing such as long sleeve, shirts and long trousers, aprons, and overalls. High visibility clothing. For head protection, helmets, hats, and or caps. For hand protection, gloves, gauntlets, and other palm and or finger protection. For foot protection, footwear such as special purpose shoes or steel cup boots. For hearing protection, earplugs, earmuffs. For respiratory protection, breathing apparatus like mask filters. And other likes sunscreen and insect repellent, padded guards for elbow, knee harnesses. Likewise, it is then important that A. Employees know how to use or wear the PPEs. It should know what certain PPEs is needed to use and how to use or wear it. B. Staff know how to instruct others in the use of the items. C. Regular inspections and testing occur as appropriate. It must check for any damage that may cause further harm to the next user. D. Service and maintenance are provided as required. E. Items provided are suitable for all those who use or wear them. F. Sufficient items are provided. There should be monitoring of items. G. Items are readily available when needed. PPEs must be placed in an area visible to all and accessible. Third, plans. Resources to support safety and security protocols must also include implementation of a formal risk management process, which results in the development of, first, emergency management plans, and second, contingency plans. Emergency management plan is a course of action developed to mitigate or reduce the damage of potential events that could endanger an organization's ability to function. It includes measures that provide for the safety of personal property and facilities, and the provisions to assess the severity of an accident and implement steps to eliminate the problem. Contingency plans are plans developed to address foreseeable but unplanned problems in the given areas of the operation of the business. Plan B. They detail what action needs to be taken when the situation described as a topic of a plan arises. Examples of contingency plans that are commonly prepared for circumstances. First, faults and malfunctions occur with significant organizational equipment and systems such as A. Reservation or booking systems. B. Communication systems. C. Security systems. D. Travel and transport vehicles and or carriers. E. Stock control systems. F. Heating, ventilation and air conditioning system. G. Primary plant and equipment. And H. Primary of ICE equipment critical to processing transactions and customers. Second, adverse weather conditions or unseasonal weather, heavy rains, floods, high winds, lightning, and heat waves. These are climatic conditions which have the capacity to A. Negative impact on booking and or patronage and sales. B. Reduce the enjoyment of customers. C. Cause the cancellation of a planned activity. Third, unexpected issues such as closure of a venue listed on the itinerary, inability to reach or access a destination, and failure of an inclusion to be open or otherwise available. Fourth, data loss occurs relating to loss of information such as reservation, special requests, customer contact details and information, itineraries, and security codes. Fifth, power or failure. Six, loss of loss or absence of key stuff. 7. Disaster recovery. Fourth, equipment and systems. Organizations will also use a range of equipment and systems to support required safety and security requirements. Again, the nature of the items we use will vary between operators based on A. Previous experience, number, and type of events which have occurred in the past. B. Risk analysis and identified threats. Funds available and location of the identified threat or risk. In general terms, equipment and systems used in this regard will include A. Lockable display cases and containers. B. Security mirrors. C. Safes. D. Radio frequency identification or RFID. E. Emergency alert system or EAS. F. CCTV. G. Motion detectors. H. Sensor pads. I. Lockable doors and windows. And J. Keycard and keypad access protocols. Fifth, documentation requirements. Workplace will always use in a variety of documentation to support and advise staff and customers about required safety and security procedures. Traditionally, these documents include A. Posters, placed in various or strategic workplace locations to advise and remind customers about specific issues. B. Checklist to help staff implement requirements and or inspect areas for compliance and or problems. C. General advisory and safety related information or sheets or handouts. Provide to tour groups members as part of the pre-departure activities and or while on tour. D. Information or advice sheets specific to individual. First, destinations. Second, activities. Third, inclusions. And fourth, venues. E. In-country advice provided prior to or on arrival in a new country as it relates to matters such as first, local customs, second, places or areas to avoid, third, what to do if a problem is encountered.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Joshua Soy Basile, and I'm here to discuss about the consequences of failing to follow safety and security procedures. Tourism and hospitality professional needs to be able to explain the consequences of failing to follow safety and security procedures. So sinasabi po dito na kailangan po ma-explain ng mga professional ang maaaring mangyari sa hindi pagsunod sa safety and security procedures. Maaari po meron tong negative consequences na maaaring makasira sa ating business. Everyone working in a tourism-related organization at all levels and all job positions needs to know the potential consequences of not implementing or adhering to required organizational safety and security procedures. Sinasabi po dito na ang mga bawat worker ay kailangan malaman ang mga kakahinatnan sa hindi pagsunod sa mga safety and security procedures. So, number one is be able to explain them to the other staff. Ang sinasabi lang po dito is kailangan ng mga staff or higher staff na mapaliwanag ito sa mga ibang workers na nakakalimutan kung ano ang mga safety and security procedures, lalo na po sa mga baguhan na employee. So, number two, be able to describe and demonstrate them to the customer. Mas maganda po na nalalaman ng mga customer ang safety and security procedures ng isang business dahil ito ay makakalesen ng panic during the risk. Or, kunyari po may sunog, makakalesen po tayo ng panic para ma-evacuate sila. Number three is motivate them to work in the way required by the business. So, we need po na mapasunod ang mga employee natin during work time. Because pag na-motivate natin sila in our business way, malilesen ang ill or injury ng isang employee. So, number four, enhance job satisfaction and promote a personal feeling of workplace and job-related pride and performance. We need to enhance the satisfaction and promote a personal feeling in workplace para hindi maging gloomy ang mga employee. Hindi sila maging airhead dahil pag meron silang fun sa work, mas maayos na itong magagampanan. Avoid the negative consequences described below. Need for the business to make insurance claim. To prevent consequences of this, we need to priority yung safety and security procedure ng isang company to lessen the risk. And example ng negative consequences is, pag nag-false insurance ang isang employee, claiming to be injured kahit nangyari sa ibang lugar at hindi sa workplace. Pag ginawa niyo po kasi ang false insurance sa isang insurance company, ay pwede po kayong kasuhan na ito at makakasira ito ng reputasyon sa inyong company name. So, need for staff to assist customer, make insurance claim of their travels and or other personal insurance. So, need ng company na ilagay sa safety ang kanilang mga customer. Kaya meron silang insurance while traveling. So, it may have negative consequences like pwedeng maasira sa rin ng company if may mangyaring masama sa customer na nag-travel. So, number three, loss and or damage to physical item. So, to prevent this, we need to tighten up our item like use high-end items and make sure we have a backup of it para hindi po ma-delay ang ating production or ating business. So, negative consequences of this is ay pwedeng ma-delay ang production ng isang business. Kaya sabi ko na babagal po yung pag-product ng mga item ng isang business or shop. Personal impact in terms injury, illness, or death. To prevent this, we need to control our emotion without panicking others. And kailangan din muna magsagawa ng first aid sa mga injury at may illness or nag-aagaw buhay. So, pag nangyari yun, pwede magsara ang ating business for 1 to 3 days at pwede magkaroon ng issue ang ating company name na meron tayong higher risk sa mga injury, illness, at death. So, legal action. To prevent this, we need a corporate lawyer to maintain the company and Ang need natin ay panatilihin ang reputasyon at mga evidence if ever na mangyari na may pumuntang lawyer. So, next, damage to enterprise image, brand, and reputation. So, ang consequences na maaaring mangyari ay ma-shutdown ang iyong company dahil sa reputation na nasira mo. Dahil may mga nalabag kang safety and security procedures. So, disciplinary action and job loss. Of course, pag hindi tayo sumunod sa safety and security procedures, pwede tayong maparusahan or mawalan ng trabaho. Dahil ito ay mabigat na tungkulin ng isang worker. At ito naman ay sinasabi tuwing orientation bago magsimula ang iyong trabaho. That's all po sa consequences of failing to follow safety and security procedures. Next reporter is Rob Dubigan.
Authority and responsibility for safety and security. All employees will have an authority and responsibility for workplace safety and security. Scope of authority and responsibility can also be referred as is sometimes just referred to as scope of authority. A scope of responsibility or scope of employment. In effect, this scope refers to delegated authority given to an employee by their employer to take unilateral action. All employees need to know their individual scope of authority in order to ensure they act in a way expected by the employer, perform tasks and responsibility as directed by the organization, not exceed authority invested in them by the business, integrate their action and decision with others in the workplace, give them confidence and surety in their work activities, and know their limits so they are aware when they cannot make a decision and or take unilateral action, when they need to refer a matter to a superior, and when they need to involve others in the issue. Next reporter.
Hi, my name is Julian Entino and topic is evacuation of tour, trip, or event safety and security information. So first of all, let us define what those it all about. When we say evacuation, it can be properly. Now we are going to discuss the evacuation of tour, trip, events, and security information. In evacuation of tour and trip, it is one of the common terms to expand particularly sa case of travel agencies and tour operators po. And next slide is authority and responsibility for safety and security. Prior to every trip, tour, or event, an employee needs to acquire all relevant safety and security information. It is an important prerequisite for employee to acquire necessary safety and security information relating to an upcoming trip, tour, or event in order to. So, in every trip, tour, or event, most know acquire in all safety and security information. For example po, dapat alam nila ang fire exit or where is the fire extinguisher is placed. And next slide is, it is important to acquire information like this in order to. First, discharge duty of care obligation because this information should be central to the ultimate decision about whether the tour, trip, or event takes place at all or as planned, and comply with the standard internal organizational protocols. This is standard requirements in all business. And next slide is, to be able to spread this kind of important information, we also need to share this knowledge with other tour, trip, or event staff. And we also determine if the tour, trip, or event should and process as planned according to the advertised and planned itinerary, and be delayed for a period of time and be deferred or postponed to a later date. And next slide is, be cancelled altogether and have substitute inclusion activities made to itinerary and be modified in some other appropriate but relatively minor ways such tulad po ng pagbabago ng rota but leaving activities or destination the same. Altering sequence of planned activities or destination, increasing or reducing time spent at attraction, and using a different mode of travel or career. And next slide is, identify the relevant knowledge na kailangan din natin i-share sa mga tour group members and customer. And ensure din po natin na they have the appropriate PPE to match the specification based on the applicable knowledge, and applying relevant knowledge into other strategies and information po. And next slide is, So, that's all po. Thank you for listening. Have a good day po. Thank you.